Any idea on the word cascading? What do you mean by cascading?
No, sir.
Okay, let me tell you what is the meaning of cascading. So cascading means, let's say you have a page here, okay, and you want to apply some style to this page, okay, and this page contains many elements, okay. Just imagine you have some elements of some kind and some other elements are of some kind, okay, and you want to provide provide style to them, okay. So then there are sheets available. So there are sheets available, that not only one sheet, but there are many sheets that you can assign to provide style to this page. Okay, imagine that these all are, style. You can imagine that these are artistic uh, component that have a job to beautify your page. Okay. I hope this is okay to you or not. So these elements which are there to beautify your page, okay, you can say that they are cascaded to your page. Okay, they are cascaded to your page to provide style information to this centralized one page. So because there are many of them, okay, and there can be multiple pages as well, right? Okay, so just imagine that a page with a green boundary is an HTML page, and pages with the violet boundary is a CSS page. Okay, so these CSSs can also style these other HTML pages. So it's not like you have to write a CSS, one CSS for every HTML. It's not the case. So you write CSS once and you just need to link that CSS, cascading style sheets, to the HTML pages. Okay.
मतलब हम लिंक करते हैं HTML पेज को।
we link we link CSS with an HTML.
बट सर आपने जो पहले बताया था उसमें आपने पूरा का पूरा मतलब CSS में लिखा था सेम टू सेम, मतलब उसमें HTML में लिखा था, तो फिर वो तो हम खाली HTML में नहीं लिख सकते?
So in an HTML, yes, in an HTML there are various ways to associate CSS with your HTML. One of the way is write a separate file. Okay, one of the ways write a separate file and make a link of that separate file to your HTML. The other way is, that way is called inline CSS. Okay, so that way is called inline CSS. So in that inline CSS, what do you have? You write a CSS code within an HTML. So in that case, what is going to happen? You write a piece of code within an HTML. Okay, that is also possible. That is also okay. Okay, you can also write that. You just need to make use of a style tag to do that. Okay, but we do not recommend this thing when there are multiple styles. If you want to impart to multiple HTML pages. Okay, so we prefer to separate the style information in a separate file. Okay, because it doesn't complicate an HTML page. Because if let's say, just imagine you have one HTML page, okay, and there are many CSSs involved. Okay, so to the other developer that might be looking into these HTML pages, okay, this might sound confusing to that developer. So in order to avoid the confusion, what we do is we write a piece of a code which was earlier on inside an HTML page. We write it in a separate file, and then we say that this is a CSS file. Okay, and we say that This is .html file. Okay, so we have two kind of files. One is HTML file, other is CSS file. Though we can incorporate that code within an HTML also by using a style tag. Okay. Okay. Still we prefer that. What do we prefer? We prefer that CSS file should be written separately. Okay, and then you use link tag to link this file to this file. Okay, CSS file to HTML file. It could be any CSS file and it could be any HTML file. So link tag is used to link a CSS file to an HTML file, and style tag is used to include a CSS information within an HTML page. Okay.
तो जो पूरी की पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन सीएसएस की होगी वो हमें वो पूरी लिखनी पड़ेगी स्टाइल में,
Hmm.
और हम
There
खाली
can be
उस
multiple styles as well. You can have multiple style tags. Okay. Like within your, like I told you here, this, just imagine that this is an HTML page, and in this HTML page I drew three boxes of violet color, right? So you can have multiple styles. Okay, it is not necessary to pour all the style information at one point of juncture. You can also include style at multiple points of time. Okay.
सर, एंड हम लिंक करेंगे तो हमें खाली उस फाइल को लिंक करना होगा
Yeah.
इसमें.
Yes. We just need to specify
बट
the
सर अगर हम
name of the file.
बट सर अगर हम किसी और उसमें खोलते हैं तो फिर वो स्टाइल ओपन नहीं होगा ना, क्योंकि वो फाइल उस पीसी में नहीं होगी.
No, we need to, if we are going to send it to, let's say, to me, if I ask you to design HTML and CSS project, okay, you need to send me both. Okay.
कि हमें दोनों भेजने पड़ेंगे ना आपको
Yeah,
पहले
दोनों भेजनी
सीएसएस.
पड़ेंगे. Yes, दोनों भेजनी पड़ेंगे. Otherwise, it is not going to function, because it will look for a file which is not sent. So the impact is not going to be reflected. आपको ये error show नहीं करेगा. It is not going to show you error if you do not send a CSS file, because HTML एक ऐसी language है जो कभी भी error show नहीं करती. Okay, even if you make some mistakes, okay, it doesn't let you know what is an error. The only thing that it gets you, that जिस purpose के लिए आपने CSS file लिखी थी, वो purpose नहीं आएगा उसमें. You won't be able to see the
स्टाइल.
yeah, style will be missing, right? Okay, so it is not going to show like you have missed something. It is not never going to tell you what wrong you have done. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I hope this thing is clear. What is the meaning of CSS, and where we can include, right? Where we can include and where we can put that CSS information. I hope this thing is clear. So should I clear this whole thing? And you have also got the meaning of cascading. ये cascading का मतलब क्या होता है? समझ में आ गया? What do you mean by cascading? Okay, let me just clear this whole thing. Okay, and now I'm going to stop this share. We'll be sharing a new screen. Okay, yeah, then this is about the practice session of CSS now. So tell me if it is visible to you. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this is CSS setup and selectors. Okay, so first of all, we'll be reading this piece of a paragraph. Okay, so that you can get to know about what is an importance of a CSS file. Okay, so developers avoid mixing code. Like I also told you that we tend to avoid mixing code by storing HTML and CSS code. Okay, so how do we avoid, how developers avoid, they write it HTML and CSS in separate files. HTML files contain HTML, okay, and and CSS file contain only CSS code. Okay, so you can also create a CSS file by using .css file name extension. Let's say the name of a file is style. You can rename that file by using .css extension. So that will be your CSS file, style.css. Okay, now over here you can see you have two files. One is index.html and other is style.css. Okay, so the page which is opened up is index.html. Okay, let's say I open this style.css. Now in this case, style.css contains only this piece of information. Okay, only p tag is defined. So this is about HTML and this is about CSS. Okay, for the sake of simplicity, at the beginning only one tag has been defined in CSS. So CSS is all about how to define meaning to the tags. Okay, let's say we know that p tag, which is a paragraph tag, okay, is used to enclose a paragraph. Let's say if I write some text over here, okay, let's say hello, hello, welcome to the class. If I write this, welcome to the class, right? So this will be taken as a paragraph because it is enclosed in a p tag. Okay, but if I want that this kind of a text which I have written, okay, the font of this should be Arial, like font family of this should be Arial. There are many members of the of this font family, and there are many families also. If you talk about font, there are many families of fonts, right? One of the font family, okay, one this kind of a font family says that one member is Arial. You can include other members as well by separating them by comma. Okay, but for the sake of simplicity, at the very beginning stage, we have included only one member of uh, of a family, that is Arial. Then you need to say something like this: A P, okay, and then font hyphen family colon Arial. And then this is style.css file. Then in index.html, you have to include that style.html, style.css file using link tag. We'll be seeing how to do it. Okay. So with this CSS file, you can write all CSS code, okay, needed to style a page. Like in this case, this CSS file wrote only p tag, but you can also define many other tags. Okay, and other than tags definition, you can also define your own classes and selectors. Okay, so we'll see what do you mean by classes, what do we mean by selectors, okay, as we proceed in this session. Okay. Okay, so take a look at index.html. Let's take a look at index.html. So this is index.html. Okay, we are seeing this HTML. Cut the CSS code in between the opening and closing style tags. Okay, let's see where is opening and closing style tag. So do you see any style tag closing and opening? Like we have reached the end of HTML. Okay, there is an HTML tag. In the HTML, there is a head tag, and this is the closing of a head tag. There's only title tag inside it. Okay, then you have a body tag. Okay, inside body, there is an img tag used to insert an image. So this image that you are able to see is because of this img tag. Okay, then there is h1. H1 says top vacation spots. So this is h1, which says top vacation spots. Okay, then there is h5, okay, which says by Stacy Gray. So by Stacy Gray, okay, a very small font. Okay, then the smallest font, which is S6, published 2 days ago. Okay, this is an HTML page, and this is the output of that HTML page. Okay, there is a paragraph which starts from the world is full of fascinating places and it ends with something new. So this is the paragraph if we are talking about. Okay, then there is an h2, okay, heading 2, which says Florence, Italy. So this is h2. And then there is a division, okay, division, and that says, now see, this is not a paragraph, this is a division. Okay, so you can also make use of divisions to write something which looks like a paragraph. Okay, but it is an area on a screen, okay, which is referred to as a division. Okay, so we have made one description, Okay, we have said that, okay, class, this is a division, and which class is description. Now what do you mean by this class? This class, okay, is an attribute of this h2, okay, of any kind of attribute, of any kind of tag. Let's say here we have used class as an attribute to h1 tag, and in this case we have used class as an attribute to div tag. Okay, and when we mention the name of this class, that means in CSS file there has to be this definition of a class. There has to be some class defined as a destination. Okay, so how would it be looking like when we define a description, it will be like dot, okay, dot description, okay, and then curly braces. Okay, then you write the definition of a description and then you close this curly brace. Okay, so whatever is enclosed here, let me just use that. Okay, whatever is enclosed here, okay, will be treated as a description class. So the name of the class starts with a dot symbol. Now the name of a tag does not start with a dot symbol. Okay, name of the class starts with a dot symbol. So as we go on, so we'll be writing that description. So once you write a class, you can specify that class with any tag. Okay, like you write the meaning, you can specify what color it should be, okay, what font family it should be, or what other things. Okay, there are many things that you can set as a style. Okay, okay, let me just clear this whole thing and let me go back to HTML. Okay, we are just looking at this HTML because it is asked to take a look at. So this is how we are taking a look at. Okay, we are trying to understand what this HTML page is, okay, and how it is making its appearance over here. Okay, once you understand this is how the organization of HTML, then you can also figure out, if you think of designing your own that personal page, okay, you can also write coding like this. Okay, like we talked about a division tag, the h2 tag and division tag share a class. So whatever impact the destination class has, okay, it will be applicable for h2 also, and that same will be applicable for this div tag.
सर फिर वो डेस्टिनेशन जो था ये उसे पिक कैसे करेगा, उसे पता कैसे लगेगा कौन सी फाइल का है ये?
So over here you have a style.css. You will be including this style.css. There is only one file which is
इसमें
style.css. Okay, you need to include this file, okay, by using link tag. Okay, at this moment we have not included it. Okay, yeah, at this moment we have not included it. We will be including it whenever we will be directed to do it. It's a kind of project. Okay,
एक्सक्यूज मी सर,
yes, excused.
थोड़ा हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट कर दो।
ओके, मैं हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट करता हूं। मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि ये आपकी HTML फाइल है। ओके, ये आपकी HTML फाइल है और इस HTML फाइल में ओके ये कोड लिखा हुआ है और ये आपकी HTML की आउटपुट है। ओके, आप यहाँ पे अगर जैसे टॉप वेकेशन स्पॉट्स लिखा हुआ है ना, इफ आई राइट समथिंग एल्स, जैसे कुछ और लिखता हूँ यहाँ पे, एंड इफ आई रन इट, ओके, तो आप देखोगे कि यहाँ पे भी कुछ और लिखा आ जाएगा। सो सी, मैंने जो लिखा वो यहाँ पे लिखा आ गया ना।
यस सर।
ओके, सो दिस इज योर HTML फाइल। थोड़ी बहुत इंग्लिश तो समझ आती होगी ना, अगर मैं कहूँ दिस इज योर HTML फाइल, राइट? ओके, तो प्लीज बियर विद मी बिकॉज आई कैन नॉट, मैं पूरा पूरा लेक्चर हिंदी में नहीं दे सकता। ओके,
यस सर।
ओके, थोड़ा थोड़ा मेरे साथ कोऑपरेट करो, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ इंग्लिश। Okay, so I was talking about, okay, I can speak a bit slow. मैं थोड़ा slow बोल लूंगा, अगर आपको English ज़्यादा fast लगती है तो I can be a bit slow. Okay, so I was saying that this is an HTML file, and in this HTML file, okay, you have written a code. आपने इस HTML फाइल में कोड लिखा है और वो कोड यहाँ पे आपको HTML फाइल में यहाँ पे आउटपुट में दिख रहा है। Okay, you are able to see something like this. समझ में आ रहा है जो मुझे बोल रहा था कि हिंदी में बोलो?
यस सर।
ओके, ग्रेट। सो HTML फाइल के अंदर बहुत सारे टैग्स होते हैं। देयर आर मेनी टैग्स इन HTML फाइल। ओके, सो बेसिकली अगर आपने पहला लेक्चर मिस कर दिया है तो मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा, I would be happy to tell you that the kind of tag HTML file starts with, this is the beginning tag HTML. आपकी फाइल HTML टैग से शुरू होती है और HTML टैग से ही खत्म होती है. Okay, your file starts with HTML tag and it ends with HTML tag. So see, at the end you will see the HTML at the end. So here it is the HTML at the end. Okay, so it starts with HTML, it ends with HTML. Okay, and within an HTML you have head and you have a body. Okay, like a human being also has a head and a body, any other creature also has a head and a body. Similarly, HTML file also has a head and a body. So the architecture of a HTML file is like any other creature. Okay, so in a head there is a title tag. Like अगर मैं पेज के head की बात करूं तो पेज के head में एक title आता है. Okay, which is vacation world. So if you are able to see at the top, आप ऊपर देखो, at the top you are able to see this Learn CSS Academy. Are you able to see this? Here it is APJ Satya University. Here it is create your first HTML CSS. Are you able to see these things? Here it is ETCS 206 SS2 2021 attendance. ये क्या है? ये सारे titles हैं. Okay, that means मैंने इस time पे 1 2 3 4 HTML files खोल रखी हैं और इन HTML files के ये सारे titles हैं. ये all these titles go inside the head. Okay, ये सारे के सारे title head में होते हैं. Okay, so if you are going to create your own HTML file, okay, in HTML file, make sure to write this title inside the head tag. Okay, वो कैसे लिखोगे? You will be writing a head tag and then you will be starting a title tag and write that piece of a title that you want as your page title. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then whatever you see here, like this is a kind of HTML file. Whatever you see here, like you see 3 divisions. Okay, one division, another division, another division. Okay, this is like a div tag. Okay, so there are three frames which have been inserted into this website. Okay, and if you look at some other website, let's say if you look at this APJ Satya University website, okay, you see, are you able to see this? APJ Satya University, you are
Yes, sir.
successfully logged in. Okay, so there is some separate kind of a tag which is responsible for bringing this out. Okay, and if you're able to see this, like this is another web page. Okay, let it open up. Okay, if you're able to see this, this is an attendance of my previous class. Okay, so in order to design this, okay, there are some separate kind of tags which are responsible for doing this. Okay, so the mean so this piece, all these things that you saw were kind of a body. So here this is a part of a body. So all this thing that you are able to see on this page is because of a body tag. Okay, now here whatever you see, not on the top, which is the title, but other than the top, whatever you see on the body is made up from whatever you have written inside a body tag. Okay, so we were talking about कि इस पेज से ये वाला पेज कैसे बना. Okay, so we were saying कि this is an image at the top. Starting में शुरू में क्या है? एक image है. So body जैसे ही शुरू होती है एक image आ जाती है. So you see there is an image. Okay, and after that there is a title. This is h1 title, h1 title. Okay, और इसकी एक class है title. So that means in CSS file there has to be a class. Okay, like in CSS file there has to be a class called title. So वो कैसे लिखेंगे? हम dot लिख के, dot title. Okay, and then we will be defining it. हम जब CSS file बनाएंगे ना तो हम ये सारी classes बनाएंगे. Okay, HTML पेज में जहां जहां आपको ये दिखता है ना, जहां जहां पे class लिखा हुआ है, wherever you see a class. Okay, let's say here if we talk about, okay, like here in h1 you see a class is equal to title. That means there has to be a class defined in style.css. Okay, and here we have a class called description. That means there has to be a description class defined in a CSS file. Okay, and let's see, here you have a top attraction. Let's say here you have top attraction, top attractions. It is written top attractions, and you have a list, unordered list. Okay. In the last class, I told you how to design an unordered list, and you might have also used it in your submissions. Okay. So this is how you do it. This is how you create a like museums, bike tours, okay, and historical monuments. So this is that list we are talking about: museum, bike tours, and historical monuments. Okay. And if I think of adding one more link to it, you can say li, you can add on. Okay. And you can, let's say, close that li, and let's add some thing to it. And after that, you see this entry will be added as a list item to that. So here you see this item has been added as a list entry, isn't it? So let's just remove that. So I hope you are getting it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so then we have the same description class. For the same description we want कि वो दूसरे H2 and paragraph, दूसरे H2 and division के लिए भी applicable हो. Okay, so that's why we use the same description there. Okay, then you have another top description. So this is how your page looks like. Okay, and the end, best of luck with your travels. This is used as a paragraph. Best of luck with your travels, and be sure to send pictures and stories. We'd love to hear them. Okay, so this is like a paragraph. So see, ये जो dash आपको दिख रही है, if you're able to see this dash at the beginning of a best of luck. Okay, so there is something in HTML that you can use to make this dash. That is ampersand m dash. Okay, if you use this ampersand m dash and then semicolon, okay, it is responsible for generating this dash. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and yeah, this is your HTML page, and it was asking us to do something with the, copy and paste. Take a look at this. Cut the CSS code in between opening and closing style tag, pasted it directly in new file style.css. Okay, but here we have not seen any style tag, right? Here we have not seen any style tag. Okay, so in that case, if it is not the case, then from index.html. Okay, let me just open it one more time. Then let's see. Let's just find out where the style tag is. Yeah, there is no style tag. Okay, let me stop this sharing. Okay, and I'm loading it again so that I can get the style tag. Maybe I might have deleted the style tag. Okay, let me just refurbish this CSS file. Okay, yes, now I have got this thing back. Let me share it. So I hope you are able to see this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so see here, it is asking us to, so it is asking us to take a look at the code and the browser. To the right, this is a code and this is the browser. To the right, the code is plain HTML without any styling. Okay, but we have a style.css file here. Okay, so see, in this style.css you have multiple tags defined, right? You have HTML and body tag defined, you have body tag defined. Okay, you have container class, this is a header class which is defined here. And then you have header and container, then you have header here, header which is h1. Okay, header h1, header p. Okay, button class, btn class, nav class. So wherever you see dot, you take it as a class. Okay, so this is how your typical css file looks like. Okay, एक typical css file आपकी ऐसे दिखती है. This is how it looks like. Okay, so HTML and body needs to be defined. Put it in the curly braces. What exactly you want to define? You want to say that the margin should be 0, padding should be 0. What exactly you want to define for a body tag? You want to say that whatever you write in a body, okay, its font family should be Roboto and sans serif. That means these are the members of the family. I told you कि एक family में members बढ़ाने के लिए आप क्या करोगे? आप comma डाल के दूसरे member का नाम लिखोगे. Okay, you will just write comma separated values. Okay, so that means you have defined a family. एक font family आपने define करी है और उसमें बताया है कि इसके दो member हैं. There are two members to it. One is Roboto, other is sans hyphen serif. If you want to introduce another member, you just write a comma and then you write the name of that member. But you need to know, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आपको कौन सा font है. Okay, नहीं पता होगा तो फिर आप नहीं लिख पाओगे वो properly. Font weight 100 होना चाहिए. Okay, body में कुछ भी लिखोगे उसका. डॉट कंटेनर अगर आपने यूज करना है तो HTML में आपको क्लास इज इक्वल टू ये वाली क्लास इज इक्वल टू कंटेनर लिखना होगा. ओके, लेट्स से p और बॉडी क्लास इज इक्वल टू कंटेनर. अगर आप क्लास कंटेनर लिखोगे तो उसका मार्जिन ये सेट हो जाएगा, मार्जिन 0 ऑटो. ओके, मैक्स विड्थ 9. सो व्हाट डू वी मीन बाय ऑटो? व्हाट वी मीन इज 0. ओके, मार्जिन होता क्या है, पैडिंग होती क्या है? ओके, विल बी सीइंग इन अ लिटिल व्हाइल. Okay, but at the moment just take a look at, just make this point that you have in CSS file you have many tags to be defined and you have many classes to be defined. Okay, tags and classes, and somewhere down here, okay, आपको ये लगेगा कि आपने दो classes एक ही जगह पे define कर रखी हैं. This is also possible. अगर आपको मल्टीपल क्लासेस एक ही जगह पे डिफाइन करनी है तो आप ऐसे भी कर सकते हो, अगर दोनों का कंटेंट सेम है तो. जैसे हेडर क्लास एंड कंटेनर क्लास, ओके, दोनों का कंटेंट सेम है तो आप दोनों को एक ही जगह डिफाइन कर सकते हो. एंड हियर यू कैन सी हेडर ऑफ h1. दैट मीन्स अगर आप हेडर क्लास h1 के साथ यूज करते हो तो दिस इम्पैक्ट विल बी एप्लीकेबल. Okay, color will be FFF, line height will be 100 px, font size will be this one, margin top, margin bottom, text transform. Okay.
हमें पता कैसे लगेगा कि कौन सा कलर है, लाइक एफएफएफ है ये?
अगर आप क्या कह रहे हो?
आपने जैसे एफएफएफ बताया ये कलर है,
तो आपको ये कैसे पता चलेगा कि कौन सा कलर है?
हाँ, मतलब लाइक कि कितने कलर हुए हैं और कौन से कलर को हमें क्या लिखना है इस टाइप से.
Okay, let me just introduce that notion to you. Okay, see, color information जब आप लिखते हो तब आपको ये ध्यान में देना है, जो मिनिमम कलर information है which is called black color, okay, can be written using #000. Okay, so see, this 0 and this 0 and this 0. Okay, this 0 is for red, this 0 is for green, this 0 is for blue. Okay, minimum value that you can set it is 000. Maximum value that you can set is FFF. Okay, so FFF is white. Okay, FFF is white. So hexadecimal number, when we learned hexadecimal number, okay, we know that F is the highest number in hexadecimal, isn't it? 0 is the minimum element, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in a color combination, whenever we specify a color combination, okay, the three symbols which are used over there, okay, the one of the symbol is used for red, other is for green, and other is for blue. Okay, so there was one experiment that when all the colors get mixed up, what color you get? It's a white color that you get. Okay, so if R is at full intensity, okay, green is also at the full intensity, blue is also at the full intensity. These are the primary colors that we take. Okay, and all the colors that you see around, okay, are considered to be made up of these primary colors. Okay, so when we say that there is full red intensity, full green intensity, full blue intensity, and if we mix all these primary colors, and we know that all other colors are also made up of these primary colors, okay, then what we get is that we get a white color. Okay, now if you want only red color, okay, you do not want a green color, you do not want a blue color, so we'll be writing it as F00. Okay, because you know that the first F is for red. Okay, so you will be having a red color in that case. If you want a green color, it will be 0F0. If you only want a blue color, it will be 0F. If you want to mix red and green fully, okay, so red, green, and blue. Blue you do not want, right? So if you do not want, make it 0. Okay, so using F, you can mix full intensity of any color. But if you do not want to mix the full red intensity and full green intensity, but let's say a little bit of red or a little bit of green, if you say, okay, then a little bit of red, little bit of green, you can see what little bit, how much little bit, okay, ranging from 1 to, E, like 0, 1, and then F. So other numbers are 1 to E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So if you want little bit, you can use 1 instead of F. Okay. So you could use this 1, 2, and let's say 0. Okay. That will be like 1 intensity of red, 2 intensity of green, but you do not want any intensity of blue. Okay, so whatever color you get, you can experiment this is an area of experimentation. आप experiment करके देख सकते हो, अलग-अलग colors को mix करके देख सकते हो. Okay, because you are,
And if it's
whatever you are doing
0,
is you
it's
are
black.
000 is black.
0.
So if no color is
Okay.
present, it will be black. Like when night comes, okay, there is no color.
Okay.
Okay, that means it's black. When all colors are present, then it's white.
White. Okay.
Okay, all colors are present, it's white. Okay, have you seen that prism experiment? Have you done that prism experiment in schools?
Yes, sir.
Sunlight enters, so we say that, okay, sunlight is of a white color, so when it enters into a prism, it gets you the rainbow. Okay, so all the colors are in white color. Okay, so all the colors of life are in the white color. So that experiment shows that if all the colors are present, then they show a whiteness. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is for the color information. Now let me just introduce this notion of a margin and a padding. What do we mean by margin and a padding? Just imagine that this is your page. This is your web page. Okay, and this is the component of a web page. Okay, let's say this component is a list. Okay, so this is list that you designed. Okay, so what is a margin and what is a padding? Okay, so just imagine that this is a list item. This is list item. Okay, the distance of this list item from the boundary of the list is called padding. Okay, and the distance of this list item from the border of the page is called margin. Okay, so this is margin and this is padding. So this is margin. Let me just use a different color to elaborate that. So this is your padding. Okay, and this green distance is margin. Okay, and when you talk about margin, there are 4 margins. Okay, because there are 4 sides: this side, this side, this side, and this side. Okay, this is called top, this side is called bottom, this side is called right, and this side is called left. Okay, so padding is also 4 types. Okay. Okay, so let's turn our attention back on an HTML page. So this is an HTML page. It says that, okay, take a look at the code and a browser. We have taken a look at the code and a browser. So this is how the browser looks like. Okay, and this is how your HTML page looks like. And we have also seen how our CSS file looks like. This is how CSS file looks like. Okay. Yeah, there are lots of definition of classes or tags. Okay. Okay. Let me see who is in a waiting room. Okay. Fine. So it says that here when we see in an HTML page, now we have 2 files. One is HTML, other is style.css. Okay. In an HTML page, we have only one link tag, and this link tag is only linking, okay, something from an internet. Okay. It is only linking the style sheet of an internet. It is not linking the style.css. So it is asking us to do this. It is asking us, okay, make another link. Okay, copy and paste the following line. Okay, include this link in the head section. Okay, so copy and paste the following line of a code on a line number 5. So this is line number 5. So let's paste it over here. ओके आपको क्या करना है अगर आपने CSS फाइल को HTML फाइल के साथ लिंक करना है तो this is how you need to write a link tag, and that link tag has href as an attribute. Okay, hyper reference, and you need to specify the name of a file. That is, here you are mentioning style.css. okay, type आपको mention करना होगा कि ये type है क्या, ये किस तरह की फाइल है. Okay, you will say that, okay, this is a simple text file, or you can say that like text/css. You need to mention that this is the type. Okay, it is a CSS file, and the information which is there in this file is a text information. Okay, and what is the relation of this file? So rel attribute is used to specify the relation. What is the relationship of this file with your HTML file? You'll say that this is used as a style sheet. Okay, so CSS, when you're linking a CSS with an HTML file, there are 3 attributes that you need to specify. One is href. Href is the name of a file. Type, what type of file it is. Okay, and basically for this kind of a CSS, the type is fixed, text/CSS. Okay, and you need to specify the relationship also. Like this is a relationship. Okay, style sheet is a relationship. Okay. For any CSS file, you need to mention these 3 attributes. एक href बता दो, type बता दो, rel बता दो. Okay, so let's run. Let's run this code, and let's see how now you will see the changed. You see the changed output, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is because of this CSS. Okay, CSS has made this change, so it looks more organized and more let's say here you have a button also. When you hover your mouse over a button, okay, so it appears like this. Okay, it was not possible if you do not have this. Let's say, let me just delete this. Okay, I'm deleting it now. I'm running it again. Okay, now this is how your file will look like. Just wait, it is going to load. So this is very simple, right? Okay. Okay, so no specific style. Whatever you wrote, it just made appearance over there. Okay, but you want that this kind of list should be like a menu. Okay, and that kind of definition is there in a CSS file. So wherever you have specified this kind of a, let's say this kind of a list you have used using this, let's say here you have mentioned. Okay, you have specified div as class nav. Okay, so nav is a navigator that is defined in style. So here container, okay, that is also defined in CSS, but just because we have not linked this CSS, okay, so the impact is not appearing. Okay, सो ये ऐसा ही होगा जैसे आपने ये फाइल बना ली, CSS फाइल बना ली, लेकिन आपने मुझे सिर्फ HTML फाइल भेजी। अगर आप सिर्फ मुझे HTML फाइल भेजोगे तो मुझे ऐसा ही दिखेगा। Okay, but if you also send me this, okay, and I have also linked it, let's say, okay, I have also linked it over here, okay, then I will see this kind of file. I hope now you are able to appreciate what is the importance of CSS. Now see, जो list आपको वैसे दिख रही थी वो अब navigation की तरह दिख रही है. Now you are able to see it as a navigation, right?
सर
Okay. And same here, see here it is join button, right? So here somewhere you can see where a join is. So see here you have written a join. Okay, so this join looks like this because of a CSS. So you have a BTN class defined in the CSS. So the behavior of this button getting highlighted when you hover your mouse over there is because of that BTN class which is there in a CSS file. I hope you understand that. Okay. Okay, now we will be learning how to create this kind of a file. Okay, and this reason for creating this of a file is the major contribution is of a CSS file. So we need to understand how to write a CSS file. Okay, so should we go into the next slide? Any question from this?
no sir, but जब हम टैग करेंगे लाइक क्लास है, हेडर है, कंटेनर है, अगर उसमें हम कुछ वो फॉन्ट फैमिली लिखते हैं तो फॉन्ट फैमिली कितने टाइप्स की होती है आपने बताया? कौन कौन
There
सी
are
होती है?
many types of font families. Okay, उसके लिए आपको you need to go through a literature of font family. Okay, it is easily available on internet. Okay, you can search what are the various kinds of font families. तो it will show you कि कौन सी font family कैसा impact देती है. Okay, तो whatever suits your page आप उसको import कर सकते हो. Okay, like here in an HTML what is required in an HTML आप सारी की सारी font families को import कर सकते हो using this CSS file. Like which is https://fonts.googleapis.com/css. Okay, and family roboto family को आपने पूरा का पूरा import कर लिया. Okay, just imagine आपके system में roboto family नहीं है तो आप Google API से roboto family import कर सकते हो. Okay, it's like a CSS file is created there and you are linking that CSS file. Okay, just because you have written an HTTPS colon something, so it is always available to you. ओके क्योंकि जहां पे भी आप भेजोगे अगर आप मुझे ये भेजोगे साथ ओके तो ये वाली फैमिली मेरे पास आ ही जाएगी ऑटोमेटिकली. You don't need to send it to me explicitly, right? Because it is centrally available at a Google website.
ओके सर.
Okay, हाँ बस ये वाले जो style.css आपको मुझे भेजनी पड़ेगी. Okay, ये आपको सारा ऐड करके इसमें भेजना पड़ेगा.
What is it? 10px pixel, 940px.
हाँ, this is pixel 940px. Pixel is the smallest unit of your screen. Okay, like अगर आप स्क्रीन को अपने मॉनिटर की स्क्रीन को ध्यान से देखोगे if you look at carefully you will see small dots over there.
सर
Okay,
बट
one particular dot is a pixel.
सर इसमें लिखा है 0 फिर 10px लिखा है तो what does it mean?
Where? Here.
Yes sir.
This is padding. So here you do not want a padding like I told you that padding has 4 types, right? Okay, like left, top, bottom, and right. Okay.
Bottom, top, right, left.
Yeah. So see, the first element is of a top. Okay, and this is of right. Okay, and the other padding is missing, and if the other padding is missing the same is going to be repeated. Okay,
sir.
okay, and same is for the margin also. Okay, you do not want this the first margin. Okay, but the other is automatically set. You want other to be automatically set. Okay, Like all the rest of the three margin should be automatically set. I hope you got it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So should we move on to the next slide now? We'll be taking a look at, okay, ये सारी चीजें हम आगे आने वाली slides में डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे. Okay. अभी आगे चलें.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is talking about inline styles. Okay, I told you about inline style when I was sharing my that thing, what you call the whiteboard. Okay. So this inline style is like if you do not write a CSS file explicitly, now you see here, you do not have a style.css file over here. Okay, you have only index.html and there is no CSS file associated with it. Okay, and in that case, you can have a style tag. You can write a style tag. So it is asking us to write a style tag. Okay, the problem with us that initially we started with this slide number 4. Okay, the CSS file. I started from the CSS file. Okay, we did not write a style tag and we were looking for something that we did not write. Okay, so now I have started from intro to CSS, introduction to CSS. Okay, then inline styles. Then there will be this is the course of our journey. Okay, we are going to cover these 16 points, and at the moment we are at point number 2. Okay, so we'll be writing CSS, we'll be writing this inline style, and then we'll be copying that style tag and we'll be putting it in a CSS file. Okay, so although CSS is a different language than HTML, okay, both are different languages, it's possible to write CSS code directly within HTML code using inline styles. I already mentioned it about. Okay, HTML element को style करने के लिए you can add style attribute directly to the opening tag. Okay, like if you have a p tag, okay, and you can write style as an attribute to it. Okay, and you can write that same piece of element that you would have written in a CSS file. Okay, had you written p, and then let's say one way of writing it, let's say if you do not want it to be an inline style, आप उसको CSS file में ऐसे लिखते हैं p, उसके बाद ऐसे curly braces. Okay, you would have written color colon red. Okay, then you would have closed it. This is if you write it in a CSS file. But if you do not want to write it as CSS file, if you want that, okay, no, I can't afford to have one more file. Okay, then you can write the same thing in a p tag in an HTML page, p style color colon red. Okay, so when you say that I am learning to code, so this piece of a text I am learning to code will be colored with red. Okay, I hope you understood it.
Sir.
Okay, let me just move on to the next thing. The code in this example above demonstrates how to use inline styling. The paragraph element has a style attribute. I told you that this is attribute. Okay, style attribute within its opening tag. Okay, next style. So this is an opening tag and this is the closing tag. Okay, so this where you have a slash in front of the name of a tag, this is called a closing tag. We discussed it when we started HTML, right? So within an opening tag, you have a style attribute. Okay, that's why it is mentioning that in an opening tag, you have that. Next, the style attribute is set equal to color colon red, which will set the color of the paragraph text to red within the browser. Okay, you might be wondering about syntax of the following snippet of the code, color colon red. At the moment, details of the syntax are not important. You'll learn more about CSS syntax in other exercises. For now, it's important to know that inline styles are a quick way of directly styling an HTML element, right? Let's say if you have a very few elements to style, okay, then there is no need to write that kind of a style in a CSS file. So CSS file is written if you have multiple things to define, multiple tags to define, multiple classes you think that you need to style, let's say you want an overall style to be provided to that page. In that case, you need to write that CSS file. Otherwise, if there is only little piece of information that you want, okay, no need, just to use inline style. Okay, if you'd like to add more than one style with inline style, simply keep adding the style attribute. Okay, make sure to end the style with the semicolon. Like here, this is important. Okay, you need to end the style with a semicolon. If you miss a semicolon, the style will not be applicable. Okay. Like here, you have entered two styles. Okay, one is red colored, other is you have mentioned that the size of the font should be 20 px. Okay, so see, the first element ended with the semicolon. The second element also ended with this semicolon. Okay, so semicolon is important. So use inline style to set font family of the first paragraph to Arial. So let's say this is the first paragraph. Okay, and here we are setting it, let's say P, and then style is equal to, okay, we will be writing, what we will be writing, font family, font hyphen family, not family, it's family. Okay, then we'll be writing colon, okay, space, and then we'll be writing Arial. Okay, so should I put semicolon or not? Semicolon लगाना चाहिए मुझे?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's put a semicolon. Okay, this is what it is talking to us. Use inline styles to set font family of the first paragraph to Arial. Okay, so we have done this. This is the first paragraph. So we need to make sure, is this a first paragraph? Yeah, this is the first paragraph. Before this, there was no paragraph. Okay, there were H1, H5, H6, IMG. Okay, style like these. Okay, let's try to run this. Okay. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so the paragraph which is world full of, so you see the style has been changed. The font has been changed. This is Arial font. This font is not an Arial font. So you can see the font style. You can make this appear, right? So this is different font than this. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's move on to the next style. Next thing. Okay, this is next thing. Just hold on. I'm just coming back. Okay, I am back. So now here we're talking about a style tag. Okay, so we saw that we can introduce a style as an attribute to a particular tag. Like in the last case, we saw that style was mentioned as an attribute to a p tag. Okay, now we have a separate style tag also. Okay, we have a separate style tag also. Like here we have style tag. Okay, this style tag. So okay, so here we are talking about, okay, let me just clear this stuff. Here is, okay, so we're talking about is style tag. Okay, so in an HTML, in a head tag, okay, we saw that initially we saw that there is only title tag, but I mentioned you that title tag is not the only tag. Okay, there are many other tags which are possible. So this one tag, which is a style tag, is also possible there. Okay, अगर आप head tag में ये बताना चाहते हो कि आपको paragraph को style करना है, so you can see P and then you can define a meaning of a paragraph. Color should be red, font size should be 20 px, and so on and so forth. Okay, like these are the instructions which are mentioned to us. Okay, let's see whether we can follow these instructions or not. So after the title, okay, make sure you write a style. Okay, and then you close the style. Okay, and then make sure to delete the inline styles that you added to a paragraph. So okay, let's delete this inline style. So this is what we added to a paragraph. We have deleted it. Okay, okay, fine. Add the inline style that you removed from. So what kind of style we removed? So what was it? Okay, so that was style font family Arial. Okay, so that was a thing. So let's just first add, then we will be deleting it. Okay, then here we will be writing in style font family, let's say font hyphen family colon, and then what is the next thing? Arial. Arial semicolon. Okay, so let's delete this now from here. So we have deleted it. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, okay, so see, we have written a style tag, but we have to say that it is for a p tag. It is for a p tag. Okay, but we have not, see, we did not mention anything about the p tag, right? We just wrote that this is a kind of a style, but we had to associate that style with some tag. Okay, that is what we missed. So now you see the same impact. Okay, this is Arial font and this is some other font. Okay, so that was also possible with this style tag. Add the inline styles that you removed from the element. So we have already done that, right? So we have whatever we removed it from the style attribute of a p tag, we have referred it over there in the style tag. Is this okay? Should we move on to the next slide? Any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay, should we move on to the next slide now? Okay,
Yes,
let's
sir.
move on to the next slide. So this is that CSS file that we were working with. So it was asking us to, okay, it was asking us to take a look at index.html. So we took a look, cut a CSS code in between the opening and closing style tags. Okay, so we need to cut it. Let's say we have cut it and paste it directly in the new file called style.css. Okay, so let's say we are going to paste it over there. So it was already pasted there. So let me just remove that already written something. Make sure to delete the remaining style element now empty from index.html. So here, let's delete it. Okay, and now let's try to run this. Now you see the paragraph was back into its original thing, right? Did you remove the paragraph style from index.html? Yes, we removed it and put it in a style.css. Yes, we have done it. Yes, here we have done it. Okay, but still it is not able to. Okay, maybe because of the spaces. Okay, let's try to run it now. No. Okay. Okay, do you think that we have done some kind of mistake that is not letting us move to the next screen? So if you have noticed any some kind of error in it, do let me know. We just reload it. I think I need to reload it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now there was a spacing problem. Okay. Let's get back to the sharing screen. So are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
So we got a
Yes,
green
sir.
tick, right? We got a green tick. There was a problem that here it was not like I did not enter a space after P. Okay, it will not be a problem if you design your own CSS file in a notepad, but just because we are working in a learning environment which is provided by Code Academy, it works through comparing whatever it has already set. Okay, इसने already set कर रखा है कि tag के बाद कुछ space दोगे तभी मैं काम करूंगा. Okay, I did not provide a space that was causing a problem to it. Okay, so the moment I entered a space after this, okay, it started working. Okay, so that is a limitation. ये एक limitation है ऐसे online environment में काम करने का. But somehow just follow this rules. Okay, कि जहाँ पे अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं आ रहा, यहाँ पे cross आ रहा है, okay, you're not able to get through. Okay, the cause of a root of a problem would be that you have not taken care of some spaces. Okay, but HTML and CSS are loosely coupled languages. Okay, अगर आप spaces नहीं भी देते तो भी काम चल जाएगा. Okay, but ये नहीं मानेगा. Code Academy will not agree to it. Okay, so here we have got this thing down. Okay, we removed that style thing from head section. We pasted it over style.css and then we got a green tick. Okay, now you see, but here the impact is not changed, right? The reason why impact is not changed because you have not linked this style to index.html. आपको इसको link भी करना है using link tag. Only then the thing that you have mentioned over here will be applicable over there. अभी देखो आपके साथ वही पुराना वाला font आ गया है. The old font has been placed over here, isn't it? It was supposed to be Arial, but now it is not Arial because CSS files, style.css file is not linked to this HTML page. Okay, so here in the head section, if you supply that link tag, okay, and the next slide we will be seeing how to do it. So now we are going to link that CSS file. Okay, I told you that आपको ये तीन attribute बताने हैं, href, okay, and type rel. Okay, so rel is to define a relationship between HTML and CSS file, because you're linking to a style sheet. So the value should be set to style sheet. What is the type? This attribute describes the type of document that you're linking to. In this case, it is a CSS file. The value of this text, this attribute should be set to text oblique CSS. Okay, what is href? It is hyperreference. Link the anchor element. The value of this attribute must be address or path to the CSS file, where that CSS file is. Okay, like here, we need to specify these three attributes. Okay, like for example, this is an example of when we are going to link style.css, which is there on a website, let's say codecademy.com/stylesheet/style.css. This is the kind of address that you have mentioned. And other than href, आपको type भी mention करना है, आपको rel भी mention करना है. Okay, and अगर ये आपके किसी डायरेक्टरी में पड़ी है तो डायरेक्टरी का पाथ आपको मेंशन करना है. ओके, ./css style.css टाइप मेंशन करना है और rel मेंशन करना है. And it is asking to do the same thing with our style.css. Okay, let's link this style sheet style.css to the HTML file index.html. First, add a link element within the head section. Okay, let's do that. Head section के अंदर ही आपको एक link tag डालना है. Okay, you have to provide link. Okay, href is equal to style.css. Okay, then you have to specify type is equal to text/css. Okay, then you have to specify rel is equal to style sheet. Okay, these things you need to mention. First add a link element, then first add a link element. ये तो हमने सारा का सारा एक ही बार में कर दिया. We have already done this. Okay. Okay, so first is okay href. So we have already href. So let's click it. Okay, then it says type. We have already written type. Okay, let's press run. Set it to correct value. And finally, rel attribute. We have already written rel attribute. Okay, so we got all 4 ticks. Okay, so you see the because since we have attached a CSS file, style.css file with our page, so you now you see over here, this is Arial font. Okay, this is different font than this font. Okay, so got it or not? So should we move on to the next slide now? अगली वाली स्लाइड पे चलें.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tag name. CSS can select HTML elements by using an element's tag name. Like here we have specified p name as a tag name. Okay. A tag name is a word between HTML angular brackets. So here in an HTML, whatever you see in angular bracket as the name of a tag. उन सभी names को you can define in CSS. Okay, like here we talk about p tag because p is there in angular bracket. Okay, so we can define it like this: p and then start curly brace and then define a meaning. Once you are done defining a meaning, close the curly brace. Okay, in this example above, all paragraph elements will be selected using a CSS selector. Okay, this is suppose we have written this p. Okay. Okay, and in this index.html, let's see how many paragraphs we have. We have only this paragraph. Okay, do we have any other paragraph? We do not have any other paragraph. There is only one paragraph. Yeah, there is also a last paragraph. Yeah, best of luck with your travels. So if we look at the bottom, best of luck with your travels. So this is also written using Arial font. Okay, so we have 2 paragraphs, one at the very last and one at the very top. So all these are not paragraph, these are divisions, right? Like this is a division, this is a division. Had this been a paragraph, the font of this would have also been changed to Arial font. Okay, and in this piece of HTML tag, HTML code, we see that there are only two paragraphs. One, the beginning paragraph, the very last paragraph. Okay, that's the reason only two things have changed its font to Arial. Okay, this paragraph, which is the last paragraph, and the very beginning, this paragraph. Okay, and our style.css only had this tag for P. So this is what it is talking about. So all the P tags in an HTML is going to have this impact. Okay, but unfortunately we had only two P's, so only two paragraph had that impact, got that impact. So in CSS we need to add a selector for h1 element. Okay, so how to do that? Let's use h1 and let's start it this way. Okay, let's not have a space. Okay, so here we have used this h1. Okay, and let me just put a space over there because it is going to ask for a space after this name of a tag. Okay, you have to have a space if you want not to have any problem. Okay, the content of the web page will update because we have already linked index.html and style.css for you. Okay, so it says that in addition to curly braces follow immediately after a selector. So curly braces follow immediately after a selector. Okay, an opening and a closing curly brace respectively. Any CSS properties will go inside the curly braces. So here, this is a CSS property will go inside the curly braces. So this is opening curly brace, this is closing curly brace. Okay, so this property will be applicable to all paragraphs. So if we write similar kind of notion or some other kind of a property to h1, that will be applicable to all h1 tags which are present there. Okay, so let's say that okay, it has asked us in the first step, it has asked us to add the selector for h1 elements. We have done this way. Okay, so we are going to run it. Okay, but we have not defined anything inside. Okay, we got a green tick. Okay, inside the curly braces of h1 selector, you just declared, okay, write this color maroon. So let's say, let me just copy it from here and let me just type it over here. And see now at this moment, the h1 top vacation spot is written with a black color. But if we run it, okay, so this should change to maroon color. So see, it has changed to maroon color. Top vacation spots have been changed to maroon colors. And there is only one h1 tag. Okay, had there been multiple h1 tags, all those tags would have been changed to maroon color. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next, let's go to the next slide now. Now we are going to look at the classes, how to specify classes. आपने देखा होगा HTML page में there are some cases where we have written class attribute of some tags, right? So that class attribute, for that class attribute to happen, you need to define classes. Okay, जैसे आपने ये देखा होगा यहाँ पे, suppose this is an example, P class brand. So you need to define this class. And classes के नाम कैसे शुरू होते हैं CSS file में? I mentioned you that you need to start using dot. Dot के साथ आपने start करना है. Okay, so dot brand. Okay, and let's follow instructions. ये कह रहे हैं कि आप class define करो. Okay, the name of the class is title. So let's use that dot title. Okay, space. So dot के साथ कुछ भी start करोगे, that will be a class. Okay, let's run. Here we got a green tick. Inside curly braces of the title selector, just write, you just declared, write color is equal to color colon teal. Okay, so color is referred to as teal. Okay, let's see whether we have got a teal color or not. So see here, we have not a maroon color here now. We have a teal color. Okay, though over here we mentioned that h1 should be colored with maroon, but here we mentioned a title. Okay, so why this is the case, why this has been changed to teal? Okay, let's see. Is there any other place where we have got a teal color? No, because in an HTML, okay, let's take a look at HTML. Okay, in an HTML for H1 we had a class title. ओके अगर आपने ये क्लास मेंशन नहीं करी तो H1 में जो आपने एट्रीब्यूट प्रॉपर्टी सिलेक्ट करी है वो एप्लीकेबल होंगी. अगर क्लास डिफाइन करी है, इफ यू हैव डिफाइंड अ क्लास कॉल्ड टाइटल, okay, then properties of that class will take over. Okay, so we just defined a class called title by using dot title. Okay, and then we saw that now we have got the properties of that class, and that property of that class mentions that the color should be teal, not a maroon. Make sense? Okay, so that's why you got teal color over here. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's have multiple classes. Okay, let's define multiple classes. Let's say we can use CSS to select HTML's elements class attribute by name. So far we have selected elements using only one class name per element. If every HTML element had a single class, okay, all the style information for each element would require a new class. Luckily, it's possible to add more than one class name to an HTML's class attribute. Okay, let's say here, take a look at this. Let's say if we write h1 class green and bold, okay, that means green is a different class, bold is a different class. Okay, so then define that means color is green and then font weight is bold. If you want that whatever you write in HTML and this h1 tag should be applied the properties of both the classes. Okay, so write both the classes using space. So green class भी आपने select कर ली, bold class भी आपने select कर ली. Okay, तो दोनों की properties आपके h1 attribute में दिखेंगी. Okay, so let's use this. In style.css, add a class selector that will make the title of the page stand out more by making all of its letter uppercase. Okay, write a class named uppercase. So let's write a class called uppercase. Okay, let's use dot upper case uppercase. Okay, and in this case you will be writing text hyphen transform uppercase. Let me just copy it and paste it over there. Okay, now yeah, this is done. Okay, now you can add the class to the title element. Navigate to index.html. Okay, अभी आप हम क्या करते हैं अभी see now here in this case you don't see anything uppercase because we have just defined a class but we have not made use of it. Okay, हमने इसका use नहीं किया, so we need to make use of it. Okay, so in order to make use of it, okay, what you need to do is you need to go to index.html file, and in this file, okay, what it is saying now you can add the class to the title element. Navigate to index.html. So we have navigated on line number 11. So here it is line number 11. Add uppercase class to this element. Okay. So this is, let's say class is equal to, okay, upper casse. Okay. So we have added this uppercase class to this element, and you will see that by Stacy Gray is now written with the capital letter. Okay. Oh, okay. So I think this is not where we should have done. Okay, we should have done to this. class title uppercase. Okay, let's remove it from here. I think we deleted some space, and the statement at 11th now became at 10th statement. Okay, let's say that it is only h5. Okay, so here we have added two classes to h1 tag. Okay, title class and uppercase class. So let's run it. So now see, top vacation spots have been changed to uppercase. Is it clear? So the property of a title is also applicable and uppercase is also applicable. Okay. Now this piece of information is talking about ID. Okay. So we can apply ID to any tag. Okay. If an HTML element needs to be styled uniquely, okay, no matter what classes are applied to the element, we can add an ID to the element. So we can identify one h1 from another h1 by using ID. Let's say you have used two h1 tag in your file, and you want one particular style to one h1 and another particular style to another h1. You specify ID for that. Okay, like here you can specify h1 with an ID large title. Okay, then you can specify that ID in a CSS file using hash symbol. Okay, like dot symbol is used to define class. Hash symbol is used to define ID. Okay, how would you specify ID? See, hash large hyphen title, so that has to be an ID somewhere in an HTML page. So whatever you write inside it will be acted as a style for that h1, for that element. Okay, so the ID name is large hyphen title, therefore CSS selector for it is hash large hyphen title. Okay, let's write that. So style.css, which is already opened, add a CSS selector for an element with an ID of article title. Okay, let's do that. Hash. Okay, this is article hyphen title. Okay, and then we write this. Okay, and in this, let's copy it. Okay, so let's try to run this. So what we have done, we have written an ID in a CSS using hash symbol. Using dot symbol, you can use a class. Using hash symbol, you can make an ID. Okay, I hope this is clear. Then we will be making use of this ID, and we will go to index.html. Okay, and we will be adding an ID attribute to h1 element and include article hyphen title as its ID. So that whatever we have right over here, that font family should be cursive, text transform should remain capitalized. Okay, let's do that in index.html. Okay, so h1 we will be writing ID. Let's say before a class, let's write ID is equal to, okay, what ID is? ID is article hyphen title. Okay, let's run. Now here you see, this is how the cursive style. Now you see the style has been changed to cursive. Okay. Okay. Add an ID attribute to h1 element, article title to h1 element on line 11 of index.html within the tags angle brackets. Yeah, we have written that. Maybe due to some space problem, it is causing us the problem. So let me just write it after this. Okay, let's see. No. Okay, so is it asking for h1? H1 element. Yes, we have done that. Okay, id is equal to, we have written id is equal to, here the way it is mentioning, id is equal to in double quotes. So we have written the same. Maybe because of some space thing. Let's just try to run this now. Yeah, it was because of a space. It was not expecting a space after id. Now we got a green tick. Okay. Okay, now you see the id has taken over. The class which was about title and uppercase, now it is not uppercase any longer, right? So id takes priority, isn't it? So if it is clear, should we move on to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now it is about classes and IDs. Okay, on line 13 of the index.html, there is an element that displays the time the article on the page was published. Add a class attribute with a class of publish time. So let's say we have, just imagine we have already have some class called publish hyphen time, or if it is not there in a CSS file, so we will be writing it. Okay, but it is saying that there is on line number 13. So there can be, see here in the line number 13, there is an element. So because some of spaces go up and down, okay, lining have been changed. It became line number 12. That element that displays the time, okay, published 2 days ago. Now here in h6 element, we have to write a class. Class is equal to, what is the name of a class? Publish hyphen time. Okay, so this is what it is talking about. Have we got a green tick? So add publish hyphen time class selector in style.css. Class selector. So we don't have that publish time. So let's write that. We'll be writing dot. Okay, we'll be writing dot because it is a class. Had it been ID, we would have been writing hash. Now, just because it is a class, we'll be writing publish hyphen time. Okay, and then we'll be writing a body of that. Okay, and inside it, we will be saying color gray. Okay, let's delete the extra space. So publish time should be written in gray color. Okay, so let's make a change. So we got a green tick over here, and this published 2 days ago is displayed in a green color, a gray color, not green but gray color. Okay, let's move on to the next thing, specificity. Okay, this specificity, okay, let's break it over here. Okay, we will be talking about the specificity and the other topic in the next lab. Okay, so for the time being, just wait for attendance link.
Okay, sir.